Channel 3 News Special Report.
Good evening, I'm Darren Perrin. The Phish farewell concert is now a Phish fiasco. As we've been telling you all day, Vermont State Police are turning people away from the big concert in Coventry. Too much mud has left no more room at the concert site. Now folks are ditching their cars and hiking in instead. Jack Thurston reports from Coventry.
State police have set up roadblocks on I-91. They're asking fans to turn around, just not come to this site. But many of those Phish heads aren't listening. Blocked at the exit of I-91, some fans are parking their cars and hoofing it into the venue.
And so what I did is I picked up my stuff, walked out of the car and said, "The hell with that, I'm going into the venue. I'm going to watch the show I paid for."
And I got up on the PA system and I said, you know, get back in your cars and keep going, please. And if you don't, expect that your car is going to be towed.
But many concert goers are risking the wrecker. Extra security is in place at the concert gates. Promoters apologizing to those fans who won't catch today's show.
We feel very, very badly about this, but you know, there was no good decision. There was no decision that was going to benefit everybody.
The promoter told me this morning that many of the tickets were purchased, most of them were purchased on credit cards, and fans who still are holding an unripped ticket can get a refund on their credit card. And Phish issued a statement on the radio station The Bunny that's broadcasting on 92.1 FM. Mike Gordon, the bassist for the band, told the fans here listening to The Bunny that the group is brainstorming ways of making this up to their fans. No word yet on how they'll make it up or if there'll maybe be another concert still to come down the road, Darren.
Tonight's concert is expected to get underway in just a little bit, and many people are still en route walking to the site. State police say as many as 2,500 cars have been abandoned on Interstate 91. Stay with Channel 3 for more on this developing story. We'll have a full report coming up at 7 o'clock, right after golf.
Burlington. From Vermont's most watched news station, this is the Channel 3 News.
Phish fiasco.
I picked up my stuff, walked out of the car.
We have team coverage as tens of thousands of Phish heads are turned away from Coventry.
I got up on the PA system and I said, you know, get back in your cars and keep going, please.
Also a deadly crash for Phish fans heading to the concert. Plus the latest on Hurricane Charley, what our region can expect from the storm. And bikers bring joy and toys to Tots.
They do so much on their own that they need all the help that they can get, and if we can do this little part to help them out, then we're more than happy.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Perrin. State police put up roadblocks today to keep tens of thousands of Phish fans out of Coventry. Mother Nature made a muddy mess at the site for Phish's final concert, and the area couldn't handle any more cars. But instead of just turning around, many fans ditched their cars and beat feet. Our team coverage begins with Jack Thurston, who is live in Coventry tonight. Hi, Jack.
Hi there, Darren. Well, the mood here is quite light. The on-again, off-again rain is off again. And as you can see behind me, Phish fanatics are flooding the concert grounds to hear their favorite band play. Phish took the stage a little over an hour ago, but it wasn't until surviving some high tension today. The band and state police issued a plea to fans to not come at all. That plea heard in a radio announcement.
We just feel horrible about it. We've been sitting there for hours trying to figure out what we can do, and there's no options, that we have to turn people away.
Just after the announcement around 9:30, fans started showing up on the festival grounds. They weren't taking no for an answer.
But there's just no way we were going back without seeing this concert, so we paid some farmer over there $25 to park in his farm, and we hiked over here.
The steady stream continued through the morning and into the early afternoon as production crews dumped mulch on the concert grounds, trying to soak up the slop Mother Nature left behind.
You guys got to work with us.
The gates to the concert site didn't open at 1 as scheduled. Word spread quickly among fans that 2:30 was the time they could claim their seat for tonight's music.
Probably 22 hours, 23 hours it took me to get in here today.
More delays as thousands strong waited anxiously.
Not now. It's going to be a little bit. So don't.
Finally, just after 3, the floodgates opened. Tens of thousands of fans made the mass exodus from the campgrounds to the concert area.
Totally worth the wait.
It's a relief that we're in and just have the show to
We're
look
not
forward
going to
to,
miss it. That's the big thing. We're not going to miss it.
Fans who are missing the show, folks who did heed that request to not come at all, they can expect a full refund on their credit card. And Darren, tonight at 11, we'll bring you all the sights and sounds of Phish's concert here tonight.
All right, Jack Thurston, live in Coventry. Thank you. We'll see you at 11. But many fans did not give up. Around 2,500 cars are sitting on the Interstate 91 tonight. Their owners and passengers hiking to the concert. Andy Potter continues our coverage. He's live in the newsroom. Andy.
Darren, today truly tested the old saying, the show must go on. Just getting there was a huge challenge. Plenty of open space around the concert site shows just how many people and their cars had not made it to Phish's water-plagued grand finale in Coventry. The area is a sea of mud, including in front of the stage. State police closed off any further entry to the site after they decided far fewer cars would fit because of all the mud. Interstate 91 became a parking lot. Although concert goers were turned back, it appeared few were willing to go back. Instead, they just abandoned their cars. Police estimate 2,500 vehicles left on the shoulder, on the median, in U-turns, or anywhere. And they just started walking. It would be a long walk, as much as 15 miles. Occasionally, a vehicle packed beyond capacity dared to go where police said no one could go. Other concert goers waited for a ride from local Vermonters who were willing to help out for a fee.
Right now, it's our park and shuttle. Until we get stopped, we're going to try to shuttle everyone in.
Many had come too far to give up now.
We're disappointed that, it got canceled, so we'll try and get in. We're turning people away. And if we can't, we'll just try and enjoy it's a great area, and we'll try and enjoy it.
Meanwhile, for the Phish heads hoping for a ride, their wait paid off. They shagged their ride that would take them within easier walking distance.
Well, we're going to try to get some of the traffic off I-91 up there to get them to park down here and keep it all safe if we can and accommodate people if we can. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a whirl anyways.
And off they went with what looked like the only realistic way to get to the show. One Coventry couple told us they were disappointed that all of those cars were turned back because they and their neighbors were willing to open their own property for parking and camping. The fact that so many people were willing to hoof it for miles into the concert site shows their determination. A lot of them came a long way to this Phish finale. We're told 7,000 tickets were sold in California and 150 tickets were sold as far away as Alaska. Darren.
Andy Potter, thank you. State emergency officials are monitoring the Phish Festival very closely. They say so far they have not called in any additional resources to help direct traffic, but they are ready to if needed.
At this point, the state police and other agencies around Vermont that have been participating in the event already are on the scene. Phish has a private security force itself that is working at the site to handle things there. So we believe that things will go well. If we need additional resources, we'll certainly call on them.
An official with the Vermont National Guard says they are standing by and ready if they are called in to help. And even though they are about an hour and a half away from the site, the Burlington Police Department is calling in extra crews for tonight because they expect many of those turned away Phish fans to flood the city. 3 Phish fans driving to Coventry were killed in a head-on collision. The accident happened yesterday on Route 15 in Underhill. All 3 victims were from Colorado. Police say the driver of the car crossed the center line into the path of an oncoming truck. All 3 people in the car died at the scene. The 2 people in the pickup truck were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Other travelers got into trouble on the way to Coventry too, but this New York couple walked away from their rollover accident on I-91. They had reportedly been driving for many hours when they lost control of their car in Thetford. The couple was treated at the scene. Hurricane Charley hammered the west coast of Florida, leaving at least 15 people dead and a path of destruction in its wake. Dozens of people are still missing. Charley has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. It comes on the heels of Bonnie, a storm that dumped as much as 3 inches of rain in some areas of Vermont, causing flooding and washed out roads here. So what can we expect from Charley? Dave's here to let us know.
Well, Darren, it looks like most of Charley is going to be staying to our south and east, and that's definitely good news. But not all of Charley will still be impacted by it. So here's Charley 6 hours ago. It has made landfall along the Carolina coast.
WCAX, Burlington. This is the Channel 3 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Perrin. An estimated 60,000 Phish fans are attending the big festival in Coventry tonight, even though tens of thousands were told to go home earlier today. Frustrated concert goers refused to take no for an answer when police put up roadblocks and told them to turn around because the concert site was a muddy mess. Instead, they just left their cars on the side of the road and started walking toward the concert. Andy Potter begins our team coverage.
Plenty of open space around the concert site shows just how many people and their cars had not made it to Phish's water-plagued grand finale in Coventry. The area is a sea of mud, including in front of the stage. State police closed off any further entry to the site after they decided far fewer cars would fit because of all the mud. Interstate 91 became a parking lot. Although concert goers were turned back, it appeared few were willing to go back. Instead, they just abandoned their cars. Police estimate 2,500 vehicles left on the shoulder, on the median, in U-turns, or anywhere. And they just started walking. It would be a long walk, as much as 15 miles. Occasionally, a vehicle packed beyond capacity dared to go where police said no one could go. Other concert goers waited for a ride from local Vermonters who were willing to help out for a fee.
Right now, it's our park and shuttle. Until we get stopped, we're going to try to shuttle everyone in.
Many had come too far to give up now.
We're disappointed that it got canceled, so we'll try and get in. We're turning people away, and if we can't, we'll just try and enjoy. It's a great area, and we'll try and enjoy it.
Meanwhile, for the Phish heads hoping for a ride, their wait paid off. They shagged their ride that would take them within easier walking distance.
Well, we're going to try to get some of the traffic off I-91 up there to get them to park down here and keep it all safe if we can and accommodate people if we can. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a whirl anyways.
And off they went with what looked like the only realistic way to get to the show. Andy Potter, Channel 3 News, Barton.
The Burlington Police Department has extra officers on duty tonight in case many of those turned away Phish fans flood the Queen City. But for those who did make it in, there was more than just music tonight. They don't call it a festival for nothing. Jack Thurston joins us live from Coventry with more on that. Hi, Jack.
Hey there, Darren. Coventry is rockin'. Phish is just across the stage from me here. They just began their third set of the night, and I think the Ferris wheel behind me says it all. This concert has really lit up the kingdom. Surviving the slop, enduring long lines, and defying interstate roadblocks, Phish heads come for a concert.
I will love you forever.
But they get much more.
Jim and Jen have decided to celebrate their love for one another.
A couple begins a new life together, marrying as their favorite band breaks up. The smell of a working dairy farm wafts in, cows still producing milk on the festival site.
As far as the interference with all the people, hasn't affected her.
Have a good one. And an art installation, fittingly dubbed the Back 40, shows rural Vermont turned upside down, a Green Mountain farm gone awry.
Sort of retrofitted these antique farm oddities into something even less logical.
But when Trey, Mike, John, and Paige take the stage, you
see and hear what motivates the masses. Music moves them all. Phish reels them in.
You know, well, you can just hear for yourself and you'll understand why.
Yes, this is why the tens of thousands have come to Coventry.
Well, Phish is scheduled to take the stage again tomorrow afternoon, rain or shine. It was to be the last time ever the band performs as a group. But, Darren, we were told this morning that the band is brainstorming a way of making it up to the folks who couldn't come to the concert site because of these waterlogged fields. So who knows? They may just surprise us with another performance down the road. We'll just wait and see.
I guess so. Stay tuned. Jack Thurston live in Coventry.
You're watching WPTZ News Channel 5, where the news comes first. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
The skies finally cleared and thousands of people are out enjoying their final day before the Phish finale tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Aixa Diaz. Gus Rosendale is at the Phish concert. He'll be joining us live in just a little bit. Tonight is the final night of the Jam Band's Big Farewell Festival in Coventry, Vermont, and Phish is on stage performing as we speak. The concert kicked off with a bang last night. Phish played well into the night before thousands of fans. People at the concert say it has been a once-in-a-lifetime experience, despite all the rain, mud, and traffic. News Channel 5's Gus Rosendale has been at the festival since day one. He joins us now live from Coventry. Gus, how does the band sound?
And it sounded pretty good, I think, so we can hear them pretty good from here. They're actually over there. They're on the stage right now. They're going to play 3 sets tonight before calling it quits for good. The concert promoters are now saying about 60,000 people came to this show, but they still don't know exactly how they're going to get out of here. That is still very much up in the air.
The mountain here is now a hill. Look away.
The farewell tour is half over for Phish. Tonight they'll walk off stage for the very last time. Thousands of fans have hiked miles to get here, leaving their cars behind when state police said they could drive no further. And now the reality of their situation. No shelter and no clear idea how they're getting home. Pat Grissinger and his friends slept on a tarp last night. They left their tent behind.
And hopefully it's still there. There's thousands of cars parked on that highway, so hopefully they can't tow us all.
We're giving rides back if you want to get your cars. Pass the word.
For $10, Gerald Quintel, who lives nearby, will drive Phish fans to their abandoned cars.
I know they want their cars. You know, you don't want to leave it there 2 or 3 days on the interstate.
The other big concern is how everybody is going to leave. Heavy rains at the start of the festival have turned the concert site into acres of deep mud. Concert promoters hope to have everyone out on Monday as scheduled. But unofficially, security guards have been telling campers to expect big delays.
We're getting a head start.
So you're changing your parking spot?
Yes, we were a good, who knows how far in there, and this will give us a little jump, hopefully, later on.
Getting out of here. I'm supposed to go to Nantucket at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'm going to make that.
Well, Phish wrapped up playing around 1 this morning, but there really is no way of telling when they're going to wrap up tonight. Remember, the band is pretty famous for playing sets at sometimes 4 o'clock in the a.m. And given that this is their last concert, there's really no telling what they're going to be up to tonight. Hey, before we head it back to the studio, I want to show you something kind of cool. We were given a tour the other day, sort of behind-the-scenes look of the staging area. And what really stands out are these unusual art displays. This is a Phish trademark at all their outdoor music festivals. We saw some statues of upside-down, uprooted maple trees. They're real eye-catchers. We asked the artists who designed them exactly what they mean.
I had a day and a half to figure out what to do, and I took my dad's gator out into his woods, and he was building a road up in the woods, and it was actually a spruce tree he had ripped out of the ground. And there was the root ball, and it just seemed like, the perfect sort of visual metaphor for Phish's end. or beginning.
Phish has outside art designers at all of their shows. Some of the materials used in these displays were actually donated by Northeast Kingdom farmers. Back now live in Coventry, we are listening to the sounds of Phish. They're back on stage, getting ready for a long night of music here. The final farewell in Coventry. Gus Rosendale, News Channel 5, Aixa, back to you.
Gus, one quick question. It was impossible to talk about the Phish concert without mentioning the weather. You guys got a lot of rain, and today must have felt wonderful.
Yeah, the last 2 days have been really nice. What's happening now, though, is all that mud hasn't really gone away. It has gotten very, very solid, so walking around gets really tiring. It's like lifting your feet through water, if you will, so that kind of gets a little tiring. And also, parts of the mud have dried up a little bit, and the conditions here are really dusty. We've actually seen the local fire department going down this road spraying down water. So believe it or not, it is very dusty and very muddy here. We got a bit of everything.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Gus. We'll be checking back with you a little bit later on in the show. Well, they walked, they hitchhiked, they begged for a ride. Close to 70,000 Phish fans somehow made it to the show last night, but more than 2,000 cars did not. News Channel 5's Kelly Reardon is just back from Coventry. Kelly, are cars still parked on the interstate?
Well, police tell us tonight, Aixa, that around 20 cars were towed off of I-91, mostly because they were parked right in the roadway or on the shoulder, but the rest of them are still there. Now, thousands of other people found their way into folks' front yards in the area, parking there. The going rate for that, around $100 for the entire weekend. Some of those folks will even let you use their shower or give you a ride to the concert for that, all, of course, for a price. Paul Poirier uses this broom to welcome them in. 40 to park, 100 to camp, $10 for a ride to the show.
I've never been a Phish fan until this weekend, and I love them now.
Call it a cottage industry. Homes and yards turned into tiny villages. The Robillards offer a porch swing, coffee, and fresh-baked cookies.
They've been awful quiet. You wouldn't think anybody's here. You know, you sleep and just get up in the morning and the cars are there.
Cars from Florida and Indiana. This purple bus from California.
I think they gave us their last money because they were making burritos all afternoon yesterday to take to the venue and sell so they could have enough gas money to get back to California.
This RV carries friends from Florida and Georgia and their 4-year-old Savannah Moon.
Come on, Scooby-Doo, where are you? And work from you, man.
Beautiful, Moon, absolutely.
The entire town of Coventry is a stage this weekend as the curtain falls on Phish's last show.
Hopefully, this is what we'll remember, this spot, this farm. And hopefully we'll remember when we're old, you know.
This will go down in history. It'll be one of them remember whens, you know.
Now tomorrow, cleaning up the mess. That is the next big task. As Gus mentioned, thousands and thousands of cars will need to be taken out of the area. Word tonight from police, they will be offering lots of wreckers at the concert site to get those cars out of the mud. At this point, either the promoters or the fans themselves will have to pay for that. That's yet to be determined. Also in the morning, shuttles will be heading back to the interstate to bring those fans back out to their cars so that they can finally head home. Aixa.
All right, thanks a lot, Kelly. Well, some Phish fans say they enjoyed the band's first night on stage last night, but because of the mud and the traffic, they say they're ready to go home today. News Channel 5's Andrea Boyle joins us live now with that part of the story. Andrea.
Well, Aixa, it may be the concert of a lifetime, but some fans have decided that one night was enough. They waited and walked for hours yesterday just to get inside the gates, but today some fans are packing up and heading home. They say they want to avoid waiting in traffic again. Others say they just weren't having fun. Nowhere to sleep, blisters on their feet, and mud everywhere.
There's just a lot of people and a lot of mud, and it's hard to really do anything, even like walk. It's hard to walk, so it's not particularly fun.
It was either leave right for the show Sunday and get back until wee hours Monday morning and fight traffic, so we thought we'd just leave a day earlier to beat the traffic and everything.
Other fans say those folks are crazy for leaving. They're missing what promises to be one for the record books. Now, those in charge are urging fans not to leave until tomorrow, saying heavy pedestrian traffic, dark roads, and lots of cars are a bad combination. Aixa.
All right, good advice. Thanks a lot, Andrea. Well, some fans had no choice but to leave very early. Some people were turned away yesterday because of the muddy campground and traffic jam. However, they did manage to make the best of everything. They headed to Nectar's in Burlington, where Phish played many years ago. Fans say they were disappointed but not angry and were happy to spend their weekend where the band got its start. Well, let's get a first look at weather now from meteorologist Gib Brown. And Gib, what a treat today was, not only for Phish fans, but everyone. Just a spectacular day out there.
A fish out of water, as they...
Let's go back live to Gus in Coventry. And Gus, we have a question. Phish is well known in the music industry. Are there any famous artists at the concert this weekend?
Well, funny you should ask, because there are a few, actually. We saw one of the Beastie Boys while we were here. Please don't ask me which one. Also, the concert promoters tell us that Dave Matthews' manager is here, but they won't say for sure if Dave is here or not. But that'd be pretty wild if he got up there and jammed a little bit. Now, there are a lot of rumors. We hear that Eminem is here, Kid Rock, Shania Twain. You know, that would be wild if she got up there to straighten. And we also bumped into, get this, Danny DeVito walking around backstage. So a lot of folks here. Reporting live in Coventry, Gus Rosendale. Aixa, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Gus, and good night, everyone.
This is Channel 3, WCAX, Burlington. From Vermont's most watched news station, this is the Channel 3 News.
Foot injuries at Phish. Mud means medical emergencies.
Hopefully helping the fans enjoy their concert. They seem to be enjoying themselves.
Also, Phish fans leave a sea of trash behind.
I've tried to do my part. You can only do so much, though, you know? You only bring so many trash bags. We ran out probably the first night.
Plus, searching for survivors after Hurricane Charley. And a benefit ball game. It's wiffle ball season at Little Fenway, Vermont. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Perrin. Despite the mud and the serious parking problems, the show must go on, and it is. The Phish Festival is in its final hours. Fun for many, but not for all. Some missed the music and headed to the medical tents instead. Jack Thurston has been camping out since Wednesday. He joins us live from Coventry. It's almost over, Jack.
Almost, Darren. Well, this was the kind of day that Phish fans have been waiting for. It was just a beautiful day to enjoy what is expected to be the last ever concert by Phish. They actually took the stage across the street from me here just a couple minutes ago for their third set of the evening. But as thousands of the fans are celebrating, a few are picking up the pieces from a very rough weekend.
Phish rocked an estimated 65 to 68,000 fans at their shows this weekend, but the party turned problematic for some. Medics treated a handful of Phish heads for drug overdoses.
And we give them a nice, safe place to cool out and to let their own natural system get rid of the recreational substances.
A far bigger concern has been foot health here. Persistent rain and mud meant twisted ankles. Phish fans often abandon their shoes, meaning bad cuts and splinters from the wood chips dumped to dry out the campgrounds.
There's been some issues with some broken glass and just a lot of blisters and macerated feet from being wet, people not having dry socks.
Health hazards come with the territory when a city springs up from out of nowhere, so do parking problems.
There still are some that may be stuck because they got stuck at some point and just decided this is where I'm going to be, and they left their vehicle, and so they still may need assistance getting out.
Warm weather for most of Saturday and Sunday helped dry out the festival site somewhat. Wreckers will still be ready to tow out stuck cars.
But we're certainly hoping that vehicles will be able to leave here smoothly, and we expect the next 24 hours to be pretty busy.
Very busy indeed. Now, a plea came out from the Department of Public Safety late this evening. They're asking fans not to leave until tomorrow. Darren, they just don't want pedestrians and cars sharing the roadway.
Now, Jack, earlier in some reports that you had made earlier in the week, you had talked about the refunds that folks would be getting. Any idea when those refunds might be available to folks who didn't get into the concert?
Well, I actually asked that question this morning of Dave Werlin of Great Northeast Productions. He's the promoter of this event, and he said that he hopes to have the return policy posted on the concert's official website by midweek. Darren, that website is phish.com/Coventry.
Also, Jack, heard there might be a few celebrities showing up to the Phish Festival this weekend. Seen any?
I haven't been quite so lucky. You're right. Rumors abound here of celebrities from Eminem to Dave Matthews to Shania Twain. The only one, though, that I've been able to confirm is Danny DeVito. I spoke with a state police sergeant out of the Rutland Barracks. He showed me some pictures he took with the diminutive actor earlier this afternoon. And Darren, as I said, Phish is playing their third set right now, and we are expecting the largest ever fireworks extravaganza ever in the kingdom. That's set for the very early morning hours.
Well, stay awake, Jack. You don't want to miss that. Jack Thurston live in Coventry.
You're right.
That's right. All right, thanks, Jack. Soon, as Jack said, those Phish heads will be heading home. State police are issuing a warning to motorists that traffic will be heavy tomorrow, especially pedestrian traffic. Access to Interstate 91 North and South near the concert site will be closed for up to 4 hours tomorrow morning. That's because thousands of Phish fans set up camp in an unlikely place and are leaving their mark on the Northeast Kingdom. Beth LeClaire continues our coverage.
Your eyes.
Camping in the kingdom. The grill is set.
We're done. Nice.
And the tents are up.
We're gonna pull it hard.
Only this isn't your average campground in the scenic Green Mountains. This is Interstate 91 and a temporary home for thousands of Phish fans.
I enjoy camping, but I've never I-91 camped before.
It's a bit overwhelming. I came up here with good intentions, but it's a bit much.
Paul Casey has been to over 20 Phish shows, but this is the first time he's spent 48 hours in his car only to camp out on the highway.
Too many people. It doesn't seem that organized. I don't know. I'm disappointed. I'm glad it's the last one, but I love the band. Don't get me wrong.
Vermont officials say they were prepared for the influx of fans.
We fully expected this. You know, there were a lot of rains this week up here, so it made it more difficult, but the state police were fully prepared for all these cars.
Phish fans may have brought hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Vermont economy, but after the concert in Coventry is done, it's what they're leaving behind that has officials concerned.
The trash started on Thursday when all the traffic backed up, and many people were in traffic for over 40 hours.
So I've tried to do my part. You can only do so much, though, you know? You only bring so many trash bags. We ran out probably the first night.
Police say there are procedures in place to take care of the miles and miles of trash. But it's unknown who'll pay for the cleanup costs once the cars move out on Monday. For now, police and Phish fanatics are sitting tight and taking in the sights.
We wanted to see the band. We wanted to say goodbye. They're great people.
It's a final farewell from thousands of fans finding a campsite wherever they can. Beth LeClaire, Channel 3 News on Interstate 9.
Finally tonight, the images from Coventry this weekend are reminiscent of another big concert. 35 years ago today, Woodstock was held. Die-hard fans blocked the New York Thruway and waded through fields of trash and mud to get to the concert site. The event was supposed to be held in Woodstock, New York, but promoters failed to book the venue. So instead, it was held at a dairy farm in Bethel, New York, about 50 miles away. About 400,000 people showed up for an event that helped define a generation. And we thought 70,000 Phish fans were a lot. Fortunately, they had some decent weather today.
Yeah, we got very lucky today. The remnants of Hurricane Charley missing the area. Just a little rain down in southern Vermont. Tonight through Monday, just some scattered showers, but nothing major.
Good enough. Another loss for Red Sox tonight.
Another loss for the Red Sox. Yankees lose, though, too, so it keeps it all in perspective.
Keeping it in balance.
Exactly. And PGA Championship, Vijay Singh winning in a playoff.
All right, that'll do it for us. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
Good night.
Channel 3, WCAX, Burlington. From Vermont's most watched news station, this is the Channel 3 News.
Coming up in the news, Phish says its final farewell, plus an interstate mess, why Phish fans were forced to camp out on the highway, and the wet weather has taken its toll on Vermont golf courses. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, August 16th at 6 o'clock. I'm Beth LeClaire in for Judy Simpson.
I'm Shauna Litsky. And I'm Gary Sadowski. Well, we actually dodged a bullet, or two actually, over the weekend. No hurricanes or anything like that. It was a pretty nice weekend, but today, well, back to the same old pattern of getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So let's take a look outside right now. We've had a few showers during the overnight hours, and still going on in some spots around the North Country this morning. Right here in Burlington, though, mostly cloudy, 64, headed for highs in the low to mid 70s. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds, and later on this afternoon, more showers and thunderstorms redeveloping. Yeah, I know.
Wonderful. All right, way to start the Monday morning.
Oh, sure.
Tough day for Boston.
Yeah, Red Sox fall to the other Sox at Fenway. VJ Singh captures the PGA Championship, and we'll take it to Athens.
All right, thanks to both of you. In the news this morning, tens of thousands of fans are headed home after Phish played a series of farewell concerts this weekend. Fireworks went off as the band got ready to do its final set. Concert lights darkened and more than 60,000 fans fell silent as Phish took the stage. With the somber rock ballad Fast Enough for You, Phish captured the crowd in Coventry. After the band's last song, the band's lead singer Trey Anastasio held back tears as he thanked fans for their devotion, and then the band left the stage. Despite the mud and the serious parking problems, the show did go on this weekend in Coventry. But as Jack Thurston reports, it wasn't smooth sailing for everyone.
Phish rocked an estimated 65 to 68,000 fans at their shows this weekend. But the party turned problematic for some. Medics treated a handful of Phish heads for drug overdoses.
And we give them a nice, safe place to cool out and to let their own natural system get rid of the recreational substances.
A far bigger concern has been foot health here. Persistent rain and mud meant twisted ankles. Phish fans often abandon their shoes, meaning bad cuts and splinters from the wood chips dumped to dry out the campgrounds.
There's been some issues with some broken glass and just a lot of blisters and macerated feet from being wet, people not having dry socks.
Health hazards come with the territory when a city springs up from out of nowhere. So do parking problems.
There still are some that may be stuck because they got stuck at some point and just decided this is where I'm going to be, and they left their vehicle, and so they still may need assistance getting out.
Warm weather for most of Saturday and Sunday helped dry out the festival site somewhat. Wreckers will still be ready to tow out stuck cars.
But we're certainly hoping that vehicles will be able to leave here smoothly, and we expect the next 24 hours to be pretty busy.
Jack Thurston, Channel 3 News in Coventry.
Phish heads are now trying to head home. State police are issuing a warning to motorists that traffic will be heavy today, especially pedestrian traffic. Access to Interstate 91 north and south near the concert site will be closed for up to 4 hours this morning. That's because thousands of Phish fans set up camp in an unlikely place, and now they're leaving their mark on the Northeast Kingdom.
Shut your eyes.
Camping in the Kingdom. The grill is set.
We're done. Nice.
And the tents are up.
We're gonna pull it hard.
Only this isn't your average campground in the scenic Green Mountains. This is Interstate 91 and a temporary home for thousands of Phish fans.
I enjoy camping, but I've never I-91 camped before.
It's a bit overwhelming. I came up here with good intentions, but it's a bit much.
Paul Casey has been to over 20 Phish shows, but this is the first time he's spent 48 hours in his car only to camp out on the highway.
Too many people. It doesn't seem that organized. I don't know. I'm disappointed. I'm glad it's the last one, but I love the band. Don't get me wrong.
Vermont officials say they were prepared for the influx of fans.
We fully expected this. You know, there were a lot of rains this week up here, so it made it more difficult, but the state police were fully prepared for all these cars.
Phish fans may have brought hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Vermont economy, but after the concert in Coventry is done, it's what they're leaving behind that has officials concerned.
The trash started on Thursday when all the traffic backed up, and many people were in traffic for over 40 hours.
So I've tried to do my part. You can only do so much, though, you know? You only bring so many trash bags. We ran out probably the first night.
Police say there are procedures in place to take care of the miles and miles of trash. But it's unknown who'll pay for the cleanup costs once the cars move out on Monday. For now, police and Phish fanatics are sitting tight and taking in the sights.
We wanted to see the band. We wanted to say goodbye. They're great people.
It's a final farewell from thousands of fans finding a campsite wherever they can.
The images from Coventry this weekend are reminiscent of another big concert. 35 years ago this weekend, Woodstock was held. Die-hard fans blocked the New York Thruway and waded through fields of trash and mud to get to the concert site. The event was supposed to be held in Woodstock, New York, but promoters failed to book the venue, so instead it was held at a dairy farm in Bethel, New York, about 50 miles away. About 400,000 people showed up for an event that helped define a Thousands of Phish fans are gearing up for the long journey home this morning after a weekend of music and mud. But the festival was more than just music. Jack Thurston has that story.
Surviving the slop, enduring long lines, and defying interstate roadblocks, Phish heads come for a concert.
I will love you forever.
But they get much more.
Jim and Jen have decided to celebrate their love for one another.
A couple begins a new life together, marrying as their favorite band breaks up. The smell of a working dairy farm wafts in, cows still producing milk on the festival site.
As far as the that's all I need. Interference with all the people hasn't affected them. Have a good one.
And an art installation, fittingly dubbed the Back 40, shows rural Vermont turned upside down, a Green Mountain farm gone awry.
Sort of retrofitted these antique farm oddities into something even less logical.
But when Trey, Mike, John, and Paige take the stage, you see and hear what motivates the masses. Music moves them all. Phish reels them in.
You know, well, you can just hear for yourself and you'll understand why.
Yes, this is why the tens of thousands have come to Coventry. Jack Thurston, Channel 3 News.
Unreal how many people there were.
And like the rest of us this weekend, really kind of lucked out because we didn't get those tropical systems that we were expecting with heavy rain, but there was still plenty of mushy ground out there from the previous.
This is Channel 3, WCAX, Burlington. From Vermont's most watched news station, this is the Channel 3 News.
Phish is finally over. We'll have team coverage of the aftermath and a final look back.
Totally worth the wait.
A shooting in Springfield is under investigation. A shooting by a police officer.
Pop, pop, pop. As I was looking out the window and I saw the back window of the car break right out.
And advancements in aerospace engineering and improving employment at Goodrich and Virgins.
Good evening, I'm Marcellus Parsons.
And I'm Sarah Conji. After wild weather nearly undid months of planning, the final Phish concert went off last night in Coventry.
Before the band's last song, a fireworks display lit up the Northeast Kingdom. And then the Burlington-based jam band took the stage. Frontman Trey Anastasio told the crowd the musicians would end their run the same way they began, with one of the first songs that they ever played together. An estimated 65,000 fans showed their support as Phish said farewell, the group bowing together, hugging together, and leaving the stage together. Now that the party is over, the cleanup is just beginning.
For that story, we turn to Jack Thurston, who's been camping out in Coventry since last Wednesday. It looks like you made it, Jack.
So far, Sarah, but it's not over yet. We began this adventure in the rain, and we're ending it that way, too. Showers plagued us all day long, and that made things very difficult for fans who are trying to dig themselves out of the thick mud.
Chewed up by days of rain and traffic, the festival fields are strewn with tired fish heads and even more tired cars. It's a good time to be a tow truck driver.
But if they had dry weather, this would have gone off without a hitch, I think.
The crawl from the kingdom has changed Coventry's commerce.
Traffic is going slow so they can get out and buy.
Gas sells for $8 a gallon on the road.
My tow trucks are more expensive than the 5 gallons of gas.
And trucks turn to taxis, shuttling Phish fans to far-off parking places. A ride goes for as much as $20.
I'm gonna put mine towards an apartment.
We caught a free shuttle, neighbors helping neighbors. When the concert goers leave the ravaged cornfields they called home for 4 days, trash stays behind. That's where a group called Clean Vibes comes in. For ridding the grounds of rubbish, they draw a wage and get a free festival ticket. But Clean Vibes does it to keep things green.
This pile here is proof enough, that a lot of people they care a lot.
Amid the chaos that'll keep the cleanup crews very busy, we found an egg sitting in the wet grass, a survivor. It is battered but not broken, like the Phish fans and the kingdom they invaded.
It's gonna be a while, but I'm ready. It was worth it.
It certainly does look like it will be a while. Many folks are still on site here, and they are digging themselves out. There are tractors roaring behind us trying to pull out some of the campers. I spoke just a little while ago with the head of the medical services facility here. He told me they're reporting 3,700 injuries that took place over the past 4 days, most of them minor bee stings, minor cuts, things like that. They say they'll be on site until noontime tomorrow. And the Phish Festival did see a death. Early this morning, a group of campers reported that a man was found in their campsite, a man they didn't even know. He was dead. The man appears to be in his early 20s. State police tell us there is no appearance of foul play. They hope an autopsy will help determine who the man is and the cause of death. Police saying tragedies like this one do occur when a city of 70,000 springs up from out of nowhere.
We've had a lot of people come up and report friends of theirs missing. I think eventually most of them got together, but one of the messages we were sending is kind of keep an eye on each other. This many people and a lot of activity going on. Unfortunately, things like this happen.
And state police are also reporting a single assault that happened on a trooper. A fan, a 21-year-old Nathan Lyonnaise of Orleans, allegedly failed to stop driving when the trooper ordered him to. Lyonnaise then allegedly assaulted the trooper, causing minor injuries to the officer's face. That Phish head is being held at the Newport Correctional Facility. Sarah and Marcellus.
Jack, what about the rumors about another Phish show to make up for all the fans who didn't get to go because of the weather troubles? And how do they get a refund on their ticket?
Well, as for the question of whether or not there will be another Phish concert, Mike Gordon, the band's bassist, took to the local radio station here, dubbed the Bunny, for the past 4 days, and he said that the band is brainstorming a way to make it up to the fans. But, as you said earlier, 65,000 to 68,000 fans did make it. They even hoofed it off the interstate. So if fans really wanted to make it, it seems like they did. So who knows if there is actually a need for another festival. We'll just have to wait on that point. As for a refund, the concert promoter tells me that a full refund policy is expected on the official concert website by tomorrow or Wednesday. That concert website is phish.com/Coventry. Sarah and Marcellus.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Well, residents in the kingdom are recovering after the big concert.
As Jack pointed out, many spent the day shuttling fans out of their community, but on the outside, Kristen Carlson and photographer Adam Blair have more on the aftermath and the big cleanup ahead.
It's been quite a weekend.
We'll probably never see it again.
It was exhausting.
It's the day after.
It's been a long weekend.
Fans are flooding out of Coventry.
It's been kind of funny watching them come off this road.
There's a lot of us trucking.
Residents helped get fans closer to home with trips from the concert site to Interstate 91.
We take just as many as we get to pick up. 10, 15 people at a time.
A ride cost $10.
The best $10 I ever spent in my entire life for that ride.
Drivers were making thousands.
Yeah, it's a lot better money, quicker money than when we're working.
Traffic is beginning to pick up, but it's going smoothly.
Over 24 troopers helped direct traffic and pedestrians. On Saturday, promoters and police stopped vehicles from parking at the concert site. As a result, 2,500 cars were ditched on the interstate.
I think it's going well right now because people are leaving at a slow pace. A lot of people are still stuck in the mud, and that's actually working to our advantage with the exit strategy.
It was awesome to let us be here, and the state troopers too were awesome, helping people out on the highway. It was good.
Before leaving the party, Phish heads spent a lot of money on food and camping sites.
It's been profitable. It's probably better than dairy farming.
They also left behind plenty of trash.
I didn't think there was going to be this much. I mean, they had said that these people are very, trash friendly. They put everything in bags, they recycle, so I really didn't think they'd be leaving stuff along the side of the road.
Phish hired a company to clean up the concert site, but state police say they do not expect they will clean up the interstate. Instead, the transportation agency will tackle that job and then bill the band.
We'll end up probably picking it up, but we'll do it.
Despite the litter and the lines, many had good feelings about the big weekend.
Oh, puts Coventry back on the map, I guess. You know, people asked what Coventry was, never knew what it was. Now they do.
Kristen Carlson, Channel 3 News, Coventry.
The state police said they have almost all the cars off Interstate 91, but they are still going to stay up in the kingdom with extra patrols for the next few days until all the Phish fans are finally gone.
Many of the Phish fans departing from Coventry descended on Burlington today as they head home to other states. But as Brian Joyce reports, so far, police fears of an influx of transient Phish fans have not come true.
We're catching a flight later on this afternoon, heading back to Vegas. Be there sometime tonight, back in our comfy beds.
Andy Greenberg and Marissa Musso were typical of many of the Phish festival goers who were traveling home through Burlington. They just had to make one last pilgrimage to Nectar's, the nightclub where the band debuted 20 years ago.
We saw Phish's last performance, and this is really the place where they got it all started. So it was just seemed like a fitting full circle kind of way to bring the whole weekend to an end.
Salads, veggie burgers, turkey sandwiches, a lot of fries. A lot of French fries.
The Phish fans stayed just long enough to carve up on Nectar's world-famed fries and gravy before heading out.
We're just going to walk around Vermont for a little, and then we're going to bring her to the airport, and we're going to go home.
City police had also been bracing for a deluge of Phish festival goers to stop here at City Hall Park and stay perhaps for a few days or weeks or even months.
No, we haven't seen any arriving yet.
The police had seen them in 1996 when Phish had its first concert in this region in Plattsburgh. Then the so-called Phish sticks came to Burlington and caused a number of problems. Now police say they're better prepared.
We have extra patrols for the next 2 weeks that are going to supplement the shifts in the event that we do become overburdened with transient folks leaving the concert en route to other parts of the country.
The police are ready, but they won't have to worry about any trouble from these Phish fans who stopped by just long enough to say goodbye without any plans to overstay their welcome. Brian Joyce, Channel 3 News in Burlington.
Police say they do not expect the so-called Phish sticks to start arriving in Burlington until tomorrow evening at the earliest, in conjunction with the closing of the Coventry Festival campsite tomorrow morning.
Vermont State Police are investigating an early morning shooting in Springfield. It happened on Main Street around 1 o'clock in the morning. The shooter was a Springfield police officer responding to a report of a stolen car. We get the details on that shooting from Kate Duffy, who's live in our Upper Valley Bureau. Kate?
Marcellus, no one was seriously injured in the shooting, but it certainly shook up a downtown neighborhood.
It took me a minute to figure it out. It sounded like firecrackers at first, and then I was like, wow, someone's getting shot at. And then I realized that it was a police officer.
Rick Knight was sitting in the front window of his house at 120 Main Street in Springfield and watched the whole thing.
Well, I saw a white car come up past there, and all of a sudden I heard pop, 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 pop as I was looking out the window, and I saw the back window of the car break right out. there was a police officer down here shooting at him.
Police say Officer Chris Norton was responding to a report of a stolen car when he saw it on Main Street, just steps from the police station. The female driver, identified as Nina Hughes, refused orders to stop.
The car revved up and then it backed out and started coming up the street. And I heard the shots, probably 4 to 6 shots, I'd say.
Police say it all began with a disturbance at the Palomar Apartments on the Chester Road. A man struck a woman, earning him an aggravated assault charge, then reported his car was stolen.
Officer Norton felt that the car was traveling at him, placing his life in danger. Officer Norton discharged his firearm several times, striking the vehicle. The female operator was not struck.
Vermont State Police are investigating the incident, and the Attorney General's office will determine whether the shooting was justified.
Right now, I'd say yes, it was. If the vehicle is traveling at him and his life is in danger, he has the right to use deadly force.
Now, the car did hit Officer Norton in the leg. The driver of the car is facing a DWI charge, but police say there could be more charges, including aggravated assault on a police officer. We'll know more when the Attorney General's office issues its report. Marcellus?
Kate's the driver in custody?
No, she was processed for a DWI charge and then released.
Okay. Kate Duffy, live in our Upper Valley newsroom. Thank you very much.
It's time now to check in with Sharon Meyer. The weekend turned out to be pretty nice, not as bad as everyone feared it might be.
Oh, absolutely. We were very lucky that we missed out on Charley. Those tropical systems are notoriously fickle, and this time we were very, very lucky. Charley stayed close to the coast and brought the heaviest of the rain to southern New England. As we saw earlier in the broadcast, we do have more showers and thunderstorms in the area again now. These have nothing to do with tropical systems. Some of these heavier storms, though, have been producing another 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain. The thing to really notice here is that these systems are not moving anywhere very quickly, so it's raining over and over in the same spot. Well, there is a reason for it. Here's this area of low pressure. We are going to be seeing some improvements as high pressure slides over from the west. We are expecting to see some sunshine again during the day tomorrow. This next frontal system is not likely to be catching up with us until the middle of the week. So for tonight, we are going to see more scattered showers and thunderstorms with overnight lows in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be partly sunny and warmer. Highs will reach the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. I'll be back with a look ahead to the weekend, and in Punta Gorda, they are still looking for victims and digging out after Hurricane Charley hit in West Florida on Friday. We'll have the latest from that part of the country.
Okay, thanks, Sharon.
Coming up, Vermonters help make military helicopters safer.
So it's a real head start on the maintenance side of things to know what's wrong with your aircraft.
In our News Rewind, a flashback to a shooting spree that wove through Vermont and New Hampshire.
What happened when you started hearing shots?
What happened? I was scared to death.
And stick around for the best pictures of the final Phish Festival.
The Goodrich Corporation in Vergennes has taken a couple of major steps towards shoring up its future. The company announced 2 multi-million-dollar contracts today to install black boxes on military helicopters. And those contracts should mean steady work for the company for years to come. Mark Bosma has more on that.
The good news is coming in twos at the Goodrich Corporation. The maker of airplane and helicopter components announced Monday it will be the recipient of not 1, but 2 contracts totaling nearly $130 million. The money will be used to outfit helicopters with health and usage management systems, or HUMS, systems that warn flight crews of problems.
And it alerts the crew to catastrophic failures potentially, as well as alerts maintainers to how to go about smoothing the rotors, eliminating the vibration, and basically fixing the system. So it's a real head start on the maintenance side of things to know what's wrong with your aircraft.
For instance, a discrepancy that would take several days to troubleshoot. In some instances, we troubleshoot it in 30 minutes, get a part on order, and fix it immediately.
The contracts include money to outfit CH-53 Sea Stallion helicopters like this one, and another $100 million to put similar systems in 30 Black Hawk helicopters for the military.
All these Marines are putting their lives on the line for every single one of us. And what we can do is help make sure that that helicopter is as safe as it possibly can be.
The HUMS have been healthy sellers for Goodrich. and that should continue. Officials say these contracts could mean a few new hires right away to join the 650 current employees at the Virgins plant, with even more coming as the technology becomes the standard.
A diagnostics product, this HUMS product, will prove to be a big part of this business within the next 5 years, because when these aircraft go into full-rate production, the production rates jump up to 70 systems per month. And so when we reach the year 2007 or so, we'll be adding a lot of people to help produce and keep up with that pace.
It's a pace that will begin to quicken at Goodrich in the coming months. Mark Bosman, Channel 3 News, Virgins.
In the Adirondacks, it's taken a small company about half a dozen years to focus on the future with their combined rifle scope and digital camera. Jack Leduc reports that Adirondack Optics of Keysville, New York, has a clear view ahead as they've begun producing and shipping their smart scope throughout the country.
That's what we're doing.
The Smart Scope not only serves as a sighting device, but also doubles as a digital camera. That's something that is attracting the attention of hunters all over the country. The Keysville company started shipping the $1,600 scopes this month. Good sales have caused a temporary backlog. The scope combines high-quality optics from Europe with Adirondack know-how in assembly.
The Europeans are very famous for their optics and their optical quality, so we wanted to have the highest quality end product as we launched into the U.S. market.
That's good news for the small staff of 6 who must work at several different tasks. Armstrong said that by January they will have to double the present staff to keep up pace with the growing business. Rifle Magazine praises the new double-duty device in a recent article.
We do our marketing from here, we do our research and development out of here, and of course we do all our administration out of here.
Armstrong said they want to be the leader in optical electronics for the hunter. The company has a bead on the market, and from the way sales are going, they seem to be on target. In just about 2 years, SmartScope will have expanded their workforce to about 200 people and be in major hunting catalogs like Cabela's and being sold in major sports retail stores like Gander Mountain. Jack Leduc, Channel 3 News in Keysville.
13 years ago this week, Vermont was stunned by the sudden death of the governor. We remember Richard Snelling later in our News Rewind.
Coming up next in First Half Sports, we're going to meet a man whose big swing has led to a big donation to Norwich University.
JJ Chaffee is here with First Half Sports.
And Norwich's most famous sports alumni is back in Vermont.
One of the great guys in pro sports, really class act, always there to help out. Alan Doyle has enjoyed a very successful 5-year career on golf's version of the senior circuit, the Champions Tour. But long before that, Doyle was a defenseman on the Norwich hockey team, eventually earning a place in the Norwich Athletic Hall of Fame. In tonight's Spotlight on Sports, Mike McCune shows us how those two worlds have crossed paths.
Alan Doyle was in his element today. The 56-year-old combining two of his biggest passions, golf and hockey, as the host of the 5th annual Alan Doyle Norwich Hockey Golf Classic at the Lake Maury Country Club in Fairleigh. It's a fundraiser for the Cadet Hockey's Blue Line Club.
The goal was a simple goal, was to help the hockey team. You know, the Blue Line Club needs to raise funds to help our program. You know, I'm a former player and I have some influence, you know, because of what I've done and what I've accomplished.
And what he's accomplished is impressive. After a long and successful amateur career, Doyle turned pro at the advanced age of 47, earning 3 Nike Tour victories in 1995. Then, in 1998, he joined the then senior PGA Tour, and his career took off. In 5 seasons, Doyle has won 9 times and added 2 more international victories. And now in his 6th season, Doyle is approaching $10 million in earnings.
Every day I wake up, I feel like I won the lotto. I get to come out in my uniform. You know, it's got golf attire, so I got it made.
And that success has afforded Doyle the opportunity to be generous. At the dinner following today's tournament, it will be announced that Alan and his wife, Kate, are donating $1.1 million toward the construction of a connector between Wrightsburg Arena and Andrews Hall.
It is a wonderful thing. It makes you feel good that you can, you know, that you can get yourself in position to help and then actually help.
All of this because Doyle loves to hit a little white ball, and he can do it pretty darn well.
Yeah, well, that's the incredible thing. I'd be doing this if I hadn't turned pro. I'd be doing all this for nothing because I love playing. And we felt we've been very blessed, and we're just trying to give back a little.
In Fairleigh, Mike McHugh, Channel 3 Spotlight on Sports.
Gives back a lot more than a little.
Yeah, he's given a lot. Thanks, JJ.
Things looking up.
Things looking up. We have more showers and thunderstorms this evening, but there is some sun in the forecast. You're going to want to hear about this coming up. Well, Mother Nature is watering the mud pits again, but we do have some dry weather coming up for tomorrow. Right now in Burlington, it is raining. The temperature is a cool 65 degrees, relative humidity 90%, barometric pressure is falling, and the winds are calm. Now, when we take a look at the satellite, we see that there's still lots of cloudiness over most of our area, but there is lots of sunshine also across some of the western parts of New York State, so there is an end in sight. However, these storm systems have been moving very, very slowly. You see the swirling action, and they sort of stay in one area right here, bringing some of the heaviest rains all into this sort of eastern New York area, although it is now beginning to slip across into some of the southwestern parts of Vermont. Temperatures throughout the Northeast are unseasonably cool. We have 60s throughout the region, a few 70s north of the border where it is a little bit drier, 75 in Montreal, also in Ottawa and North Bay reporting 72, warmer than what we have underneath that big old rain cloud. Overnight lows tonight are not going to be slipping off all that much, and then daytime highs tomorrow will be improving. We expect to get those temperatures up into the upper 70s, near 80 degrees, some low 80s through the lower Connecticut River Valley. Well, here's what's going on. We do have that area of low pressure. That's going to be moving offshore with high pressure settling right along the coast for tomorrow. We have yet another front that's going to be closing in on us on Wednesday. We stand the chance for some afternoon showers and thunderstorms there, and then on Wednesday night, then we have another cold front which is going to be swinging down later in the week, so it's kind of on again, off again weather pattern we've become a little bit accustomed to. Your forecast is next.
Hey, Mr. Opportunity here. Listen up, folks. Now that is a beautiful Accord LX, and Honda is having a clearance. We're talking serious deals here, people. Honda plus clearance. Come on, you do the math. Seems like a no-brainer to me, but I'm just two-dimensional. The 2004 Honda Clearance. Hey, you snooze, you're gonna lose. Now you can lease an Accord LX for $199 a month for 36 months. And where else? Say it with me, your Honda dealer. I'm Mr. Opportunity, and I'm knocking.
We do have a few more showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for this evening. Those are going to be winding down, though. Mostly cloudy skies overnight. Overnight lows will be in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Now for tomorrow, it's going to be partly sunny and warmer. High temperatures will be in the upper 70s and low 80s. For Tuesday night, partly cloudy. Overnight lows will be in the 50s. And on Wednesday, partly sunny with a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm or two. High temperatures will be in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Thursday, chance of showers and thunderstorms. We expect it to be partly sunny on Friday, and on Saturday, chance of showers and thunderstorms. We get those temperatures at least back up into the 70s. It is August. If we're going to get our 70s and 80s in, now's the time to do it.
Sure. Thanks, Sharon. Well, Phish said its final farewell to fans, and now the fans are saying farewell to the Northeast Kingdom.
The exodus of concertgoers is one of our top stories tonight. Up to 68,000 fans are making their way out of Coventry, I should say. Rain continued to cause problems today, as it did last week. The cleanup crews are now busy at the airport clearing out the trash left behind.
Many fans were heading back to their cars on Interstate 91 today. Police say about 2,500 cars were left along the highway after the festival campsite was closed to cars Saturday due to weather. State police say most of the cars are now gone.
And the State Police and the Attorney General's office are now investigating an early morning shooting in Springfield, Vermont. A Springfield police officer shot at a vehicle, reported stolen, that he felt was threatening him. Officer Chris Norton shot at the vehicle but did not injure the driver.
In tonight's News Rewind, the death of a leader. It was this week, 13 years ago, that Vermont Governor Richard Snelling died suddenly of a heart attack while cleaning his pool. Roger Garrity takes us back to August 14th, 1991.
Governor Richard Snelling is dead.
The news stunned the state, and Channel 3 devoted the entire 6 o'clock news hour to the story.
There was no answer at the door when his state police officer showed up here at his house in Shelburne to pick him up for a breakfast meeting. At that point, another state police officer arrived, and the two went behind the house to find Governor Snelling lying dead by his swimming pool.
The 4-term former governor had come out of political retirement to win election again in 1990. He was trying to shepherd the state out of a recession.
And I think Dick Snelling deserves tremendous credit for getting us on a strong fiscal and financial path.
That responsibility would fall to Vermont's new governor.
But I will faithfully execute the office of governor for the state of Vermont.
Lieutenant Governor Howard Dean inherited the governor's office that day, a job he would hold for 11 years. Almost exactly 1 year later, Vermont lost another public servant. District Judge Frank Mahady died of cancer. Mahady had gained notoriety as a defender of constitutional rights, with controversial rulings in the Northeast Kingdom Community Church case and in the Winooski 44 case. Controversy followed him when he was appointed to the Supreme Court in 1987. Tax problems in his past forced Mahady to return to the district bench, a job he'd always loved.
District Court provides a unique opportunity to be of service to people. I feel that I owe the state of Vermont a great deal.
Federal Judge Fred Parker died unexpectedly this week in 2003. Parker was appointed to the federal bench in 1990 and to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in 1994. He was a close friend of Senator Jim Jeffords, who called Parker a great hero. This week in 1997, a murderous rampage by a New Hampshire man. Carl Draga's deep disdain for the government led him on a shooting spree.
He wanted to do something, he did it, no matter if there was law around or what.
On a sunny summer morning in Colebrook, Draga gunned down 2 New Hampshire state troopers. He then turned his assault rifle on a local judge and a newspaper editor.
I'm not going to lie, I was scared because we could hear the bullets were real loud.
From there, a massive manhunt was on. Police set up roadblocks and issued alerts.
You might want to lock the doors tonight.
Police tracked Draga to a wooded hillside in Brunswick, Vermont, where heavily armed he lay in ambush. 4 more officers were wounded in a 45-minute shootout before Draga was taken down.
And Mr. Draga was found, when he was fatally shot, he was found laying down right in this area right here.
Police later found huge stockpiles of explosives on Draga's property and were forced to burn down his barn rather than risk booby traps inside. No one knows for sure what set off Carl Draga that day, only that he meant to kill. Rewind to 1988 for a much-anticipated debut at Centennial Field. Ken Griffey Jr. took the field for the Vermont Mariners. The future superstar played just 17 games on Vermont's AA team during his meteoric rise to the majors. He posted a .279 batting average with 2 home runs. And our region got its first taste of a big Phish festival this week in 1996. A sea of fish heads, 75,000 strong, flooded the old Plattsburgh Air Force Base for the Clifford Ball.
The music is just like so just intense when you're like in there with the concert and stuff. It's great, and like the scene around here, it's just unbelievable.
It's a big, big party, and everyone's invited.
That's our News Rewind for this week. I'm Roger Garrett.
Deja vu. Next week, the biggest prison break in Vermont history, and a woman playing on a men's college football team.
Coming up next, Sharon has the latest from hurricane-ravaged Florida.
And train traffic in the Adirondacks is way off track. We'll explain next. Police in Burlington, New Hampshire may have found the body of a man missing since Thursday. Authorities are investigating whether a body found in the Androscoggin River this morning is that of 90-year-old Robert Croteau. He reportedly wandered off from the senior housing complex where he lives. Friends say Croteau may have suffered from Alzheimer's disease. A beloved piece of Vermont history is no more. The historic Ann Story cabin in Salisbury burned to the ground last Sunday, and police are treating the incident as an arson. Ann Story was one of Salisbury's first settlers and is considered an important figure in the Revolutionary War. The cabin was not the original lived in by Story, but it comes from the same era.
A washout in the Hudson River Valley is delaying Amtrak trains in the Adirondacks and one in Vermont. Service between New York City and Albany is canceled altogether. The Ethan Allen Express, which comes into Rutland, and the Adirondack trains that go up to Montreal are running on a modified schedule. The Vermonter is unaffected by the washout. It runs through the Connecticut River Valley. It's running on time. For the latest information, passengers should call 1-800-USA-RAIL. Amtrak expects more cancellations and delays in the New York corridor tomorrow. The town of Richford has lost its only supermarket. That happened yesterday after a year of struggling to keep the store open. Food City officials said that sales were just too low to make that store profitable. The nearest grocery store for people in Richford is now in the neighboring community of Enosburg Falls. The 3-year-old store in Richford employed 12 people.
Sharon joins us once again. We were very lucky to have missed out on those tropical systems over the weekend.
Absolutely. We're certainly very lucky. We've seen enough rain around here anyway, and we don't need any more, especially over this weekend. On the west coast of Florida, where Charley hit first and the hardest, they are still picking through the debris. Even getting the bare essentials to get on with life is tough. Jennifer Donnellan reports from Punta Gorda.
That was a bathtub.
Everything's unstable.
This is home after Hurricane Charley.
It's nothing I ever seen before in my life, and I wouldn't care to if I never saw it again. And it's just, it's awful.
Florida communities are unrecognizable. Street signs are down. So are trees and power lines.
We have no water, no electricity, no nothing. You know, we're searching around.
Today, victims found some relief.
Whatever we don't use, we'll give to somebody else.
Ice on top of it. Bags of ice and bottles of water, an initial quench in a thirst for recovery. This is the line. It goes all the way down. People are in desperate need of supplies. They are trying their best to do what they can with what they have. And these days, residents have learned to be creative.
This is how you take a shower after Hurricane Charley.
There is still so much to clean up here, and miles of debris are slowing the search for the missing. Officials say hundreds remain unaccounted for. At least 17 died in the Category 4 killer, but in the aftermath of destruction and despair, there are stories like this.
We drove down the road and saw all the houses, the roofs off the houses, saw the roof off of this house and knew our house was gone. We came around the corner and we burst into tears, and our house was still here.
The Weilers say their home has beat 6 hurricanes in 107 years, an unexplainable blessing of nature in an area hit hardest by Charley's wrath. Jennifer Donnellan, CBS News, Punta Gorda, Florida.
Now, late last week, we were watching 2 more tropical systems out in the Atlantic. There is good news there. Earl has kind of fallen apart and is now just a tropical wave, and Hurricane Danielle is expected to stay well out to sea and not be an influence on our weather anywhere here in the U.S. So those 2 systems, not anything we need to worry about.
That's good news.
Right now.
That is good news. Great. Thanks, Sharon.
JJ's back with second half sports. A big showdown in Athens today.
Yeah, in the pool, the long-awaited matchup between Michael Phelps and Ian Thorpe of Australia. They went at it, and we'll also take a look back at a real rough day on the basketball court for the USA men's team. Michael Phelps' hopes of 8 gold medals disappeared yesterday when the USA swimmers failed to win the 400-meter freestyle relay. Today, hopes of 7 are dashed. That's because Phelps finished a disappointing 3rd in his head-to-head showdown with Australian Ian Thorpe. Thorpe won the men's 200-meter freestyle final. Now, the U.S. did win a pair of golds in the pool. Erin Pearsall, first of the men's 100-meter backstroke, and Natalie Coughlin winning the women's 100 backstroke. USA women's softball beat Japan 3-0, but it took 8 innings, and a Kat Osterman one-hitter. USA women's hoop a winner 80-61 over the Czech Republic. Now, if anyone thought the lackluster performance in the pre-Olympic tune-ups meant little for the U.S. men's basketball team, that has to be reassessed today. USA comes crashing to earth when they were stunned by Puerto Rico 92-73 in their opener in Athens yesterday.
It happens, man, right? The Yankees lose, Mike Tyson lost, Muhammad Ali lost, Michael Jordan lost big games. You know, we get over it. We still got a series, I guess you would call it, to try to win, so we can still do it.
You always bounce back. I think if we did never bounce back, none of us would be Olympians right now. So we got some very strong-minded people in this team, a lot of confident guys in this team, knowing that we got to play a lot better. I'm not saying we play good at all. We got to play a lot better, and I think we still can accomplish our goal.
Okay, take it from there. The Boston Globe reporting yesterday that the Celtics might hold training camp at the University of Vermont. UVM Director of Athletic Communications, Gordon Woodworth, says the school has talked with the Celtics, but nothing has been finalized. And the Celtics have signed free agent forward Tom Gugliotta, who played for both Phoenix and Utah last season. Director of Basketball Operations Danny Ainge coached Gugliotta in Phoenix. He was selected 6th overall in the '92 draft by Washington during the past 12 years. Spent time with Washington, Minnesota, Phoenix, and Utah. Comes to Boston averaging 13.5 points a game for his career. Patriots first-round draft pick Benjamin Watson of Georgia is in the fold. The tight end signed with the team today after a 2-week holdout. Fired one agent and hired a new one last week, and they got it done. NFL preseason action. Buffalo Bills hosting the Denver Broncos. Drew Bledsoe and the Bills at the 27. Willie Middlebrooks goes up, takes one away from Eric Moulds. That was a drive killer right there. Jake Plummer trying to get something going for the Broncos. He's picked by Ryan Denny. First unit's having some troubles out there last night. And Willis McGahee, the former Miami Hurricane, sat out all last year injured. Bills took a chance at him. Here, he gets into the end zone to break a 3-3 tie. Bills win their opener 16-6. Broncos quickly go to 0-2 after losing last Monday's Hall of Fame game. The last two members of the Ryder Cup team were named today. Hal Sutton announcing his captain's picks. 50-year-old Jay Haas and Stuart Sink added to the team. Division III college hockey has gone to predetermined sites for the championship, and Lake Placid has been selected to host the D3 semis and finals in 2008. The State University of New York in Potsdam and the New York Olympic Regional Development Authority will serve as co-host. UVM Director of Athletics Bob Corn will undergo surgery to remove a benign tumor of the vestibular nerve that extends from the brainstem to the inner ear, according to a school news release. Corn is expected to be away from his job for 3 to 6 weeks. We wish all the best to Bob Corn and a speedy recovery. Each year, we're treated to some high-quality tennis at the Jeff Stone Memorial Tennis Tournament. This year, no exception. And this event came to a conclusion yesterday afternoon at the Burlington Tennis Club. 20th year of this event, and we start with the women's finals. Top-seeded Maggie Patterson taking on Kim Mahan. Mahan, the head pro at the Vermont National Country Club. Patterson, all-conference star at Davidson in North Carolina. Decisive winners, 6-love, 6-1.
We had a lot of good points, a lot of deuce games. Fortunately, I held on to some of those games and won the first set, and then second set was a little bit more of a battle for me, but it was good, just a good player.
All right, on to the men's final. Defending champion Errol Natras facing 2002 winner Perry Crockett. Natras near court using the serve and volley to win the first set, 6-2. Now, second set, Crockett wins the first 2 games. Natras turns up the heat, takes 6 of the next 7 games, earned a 6-2, 6-3 victory, and win the Jeff Stone singles title.
No, it's great. I mean, because I have so much respect for all the players. I mean, Perry's an awesome player, and all the competitors over here are just great people, and it's quite an honor to be the champion.
All right, Red Sox host the Jays, and we'll have that coverage at 11.
Okay, thanks, JJ.
The band has left the stage, but many Phish fans are stuck in Coventry tonight.
They sure are. It was an epic journey for thousands of the band's devotees. We'll have their story from mud to music when we come back.
The final Phish show is now history, but it won't be forgotten anytime soon, especially in the Northeast Kingdom.
Channel 3 News photographer Bob Davis spent the last 6 days in Coventry recording the sights and sounds of the Phish Festival.
Start moving toward the ticket takers.
All right, thank you very much. You're welcome.
It's pouring. Well, it was. And now we don't have any shelter at all.
Come on, this way.
We're good to go.
W257AU St. Johnsbury, a.k.a. The Bunny.
I hope you're not too muddy, not too wet, not too soggy out there, and you're being safe, staying in your car.
We are asking for people to delay their arrival until Saturday in order to give us more time to get everyone in here.
Feels great to be here. With nectar, selling some gravy fries.
Oh,
And there's forks on the table. Somebody bring forks.
Everybody watch out!
Bottom line, God has a monopoly on the weather.
You can put all the mud you want in front of my face. Nothing will stop me from listening to what I love the best.
Wow, quite a week.
Something we'll all remember.
Certainly.
I feel like I had the experience, but I didn't have to get wet and muddy in order to do it. That was wonderful. Thanks to Bob for doing that for us.
So we have a little sunshine ahead.
We do. We have a few more showers overnight tonight, though. Showers and thunderstorms this evening. It'll be drying out after midnight tonight, and then tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer. High temperatures back up in the upper 70s and low 80s. Now, there will be the chance for an afternoon thunderstorm or so on Wednesday, Thursday. Chance of showers and thunderstorms. Dry on Friday. Saturday looks as though there will be a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm as well, but at least we get those temperatures back up in the 70s.
Not too shabby.
That's good. Thanks, Sharon.
Coming up tonight, should Winooski's smoking ban in bars include private clubs? The controversy at 11. I'm Sarah Conji.
And I'm Mercedes Parsons. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.